This video attempts something that statistically breaks most people who actually try it. Not learning a number, actually feeling one. Somewhere near the end, for most people, something in the chest tightens without warning. If that happens, that is not a malfunction. That is the correct response, finally arriving late. Start here. Light, the fastest thing in existence, the actual speed limit built into the universe, takes about 8 minutes to reach an eye from the sun. 8 minutes. That is a coffee going cold. Almost nothing. Now one step further. Not a special star, just the nearest one, Proxima Centauri, 4 light years out. 4 feels small, so the instinct is to scale it up. 4 coffees going cold. That instinct is wrong immediately. 4 light years is not 4 times the distance to the sun. It is roughly 270,000 times that distance. Voyager 1, the fastest, farthest, most stubborn object humanity has ever built, moving since 1977, has been travelling for almost 50 years, and it still has not gone a full light day. Proxima Centauri sits 1,500 light days out. At Voyager's speed, the crowd would take something like 70,000 years. That is the first crack. Not fear yet, just static. A mind returning an error message it has no font for. Keep going, because the numbers do not stop being cruel. The galaxy holding this entire solar system, every star, every planet, every human who has ever lived, is about 100,000 light years across. Not to the next star, across the whole structure. And this galaxy is not even large by galactic standards. It is average. There are, by the best current estimates, somewhere between a couple 100 billion and a couple trillion other galaxies, just within the part of the universe that can actually be observed. Astronomers call it the observable universe, a name that quietly admits there is almost certainly more out there that will never be detectable, because its light has not had time to arrive, and depending how the expansion continues, some of it never will. Worth being precise here, because the comment section under any science video is full of people ready to correct a number. So, no one knows the exact galaxy count. The estimate shifted by a factor of 10 within the last decade. That is not science failing. That is what honesty at this scale actually looks like. Human senses evolved for something so much smaller than this that even the best instruments on Earth are still, technically, guessing. By the point most people actually try to hold all of it at once, every one of those trillion-ish galaxies, each with 100 billion stars, many of those stars almost certainly circled by planets, all of it rushing away from all of itself, in every direction, permanently, something physical tends to happen. The chest tightens, breathing gets shorter, an oddly small, oddly bodily reaction to something with no size a body could ever stand next to. That reaction is not rare, and it is not weakness. There is a documented phenomenon in cognitive science for exactly this: scope insensitivity. The same mind that can instantly tell 3 apples from 4 apples cannot meaningfully tell a million of something from a billion of something. Both simply register as a lot. Not a personal failure, a hardware limit. Evolution never needed a mind that could comprehend a trillion of anything. It needed one that could count to maybe 12 and not get eaten by the thing with 4 legs. Humans didn't accept any of this quietly either. Nobody is born with the hardware to grasp numbers this size, so people started building substitutes instead, scale models. If the sum were the size of a basketball videos, an entire cottage industry devoted to shrinking the universe down to something that fits inside a classroom. None of it actually works. Shrink the solar system down to fit on a football field, and the nearest other star is still sitting in a different country. Shrink the observable universe down to the size of Earth, and a single galaxy ends up smaller than a bacterium. The metaphors don't make the number comprehensible. They just relocate the incomprehensibility somewhere slightly more embarrassing. It isn't only astronomy that does this. There are more possible unique games of chess than there are atoms in the entire observable universe. A board with 64 squares and 32 carved pieces, designed centuries before anyone owned a telescope, somehow generating more possibility than all the matter that exists. Somewhere, a chessboard is quietly more infinite than reality. Nobody who wrote the rules meant for that to happen. Nobody ever does. Even the machines built specifically to model the universe can't do it honestly. The largest cosmological simulations ever run don't track individual stars, let alone atoms. They track clumps of a few 100,000 stars at a time, and let the rest blur together, because computing every star individually would take longer to finish than the universe has existed to give it. The most powerful computers on Earth, built for exactly this one job, still have to cheat the assignment. There's a particular kind of dark comedy in how hard people have tried anyway. The same spacecraft that still hasn't gone a full light day from home, Voyager 1, was told in 1990, on its way out of the solar system, to turn its camera around one last time. Earth showed up as less than a single pixel. Every war, every wedding, every argument about whose turn it was to do the dishes, compressed into a smudge of light that somebody's actual job that week was to squint at and confirm was even there. Yep, that one. That's home. That's the universe's idea of a joke. And it never once explains the punchline. Nobody down here has ever gotten the real version of that moment. A small number of people, it turns out, actually have. There is a group of people this has happened to for real. Not from a late-night reading spiral, but from an actual window. Astronauts. Different countries, different decades, reporting almost the same experience the moment Earth is seen hanging there against all of it. A sudden, overwhelming shift in how fragile and connected everything below suddenly feels. Documented well enough now to have a name: the overview effect. Not mysticism, just what a mind does when it is forced, physically, to update its sense of scale in real time. No rocket required for a smaller, cheaper version of the same jolt. Just an actual willingness to sit with the real numbers instead of letting them slide past as background noise. And here is the part almost no one expects. The discomfort does not resolve. There is no tidy realization waiting at the bottom that turns the fear into peace. Sitting with the real numbers, even after knowing them for years, still tends to produce that same tightness every time, on purpose. Most people assume that means something is wrong. It might be the most honest reaction a thinking thing is capable of having. This is not going to end with the line every space video ends on, that everyone is made of star stuff. True, just repeated so often it has become wallpaper. It stopped meaning anything a long time ago. So here is the unresolved part instead, because it is more honest than a bow on top. No mind can actually hold the size of the universe, not for more than a few destabilising seconds before it quietly changes the subject back to something manageable. A deadline, a bill, whether the stove got left on. Not a flaw waiting to be fixed. That's the exact mechanism keeping a person functional enough to keep existing inside a scale that, honestly, has no right being survivable to think about. One clear night is enough. One star, anyone, it doesn't matter which. 60 seconds, that's the whole ask. Whatever light lands on the eye in that minute has been travelling since before this century started. Maybe since before the one before that. It has outlasted governments, marriages, whatever was worrying somebody on the exact day it left. Then the 60 seconds end. Most people look back down, lock their phone, go back inside. That's fine. That's what happens next, every time. If something tightened in the chest first, it already found the right place to sit.